think I'm wearing pants.
When I last saw you, you were. Sorry. That's
Oh, he
all
took
that I
them
have
off.
up on the current info of your pants status.
Well, I knew you didn't want to see, so.
All right, I've got us streaming.
Oh, Jesus. Really?
Oh God, we're live.
We're on a thing.
Oh,
So down for
Bang, bang.
you. These sunglasses make everything red. I can't see. I'm trying to pull us up on our phone, so my phone, so we actually have a. Oh,
now if we had written out your script in code, you know, that like black and white static looking code that they give you in the Snoopy like Happy Meal, then you'd be able to see everything. Or if one side was blue and one side was red, you'd see everything in 3D.
You know, I didn't tell everybody we were going to be dressed. That would have brought a whole new audience. I should have thought of
Wait, we were supposed
Happy
to dress
almost
up?
Halloween, y'all.
yeah, that's just Rich's work attire.
Yeah, pretty much.
I need to try to figure something out for real because, like, they sort of announced at the last minute that we can wear costumes at work on Thursday. So it needs to be like work appropriate, but also like clever. And so, but also last minute. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe pirate.
Let's see. Yeah, there you go.
I guess I'll take any suggestions. You know, people could always email or like call into the voicemail or the text message or whatever, you know.
We should tell people about that.
Yeah. Well, it's 510 GRD crew.
Is it?
And like, so you could be like, hey, I think you could be a whatever. Oh, I do have to say, y'all, you did hear that Billy had some sad news. Yes. But the silver lining is going through this amazing repository of old photos.
Oh, I
But
bet.
wow, there are some real gems in there. And some of them are mine and some of them are his. I found, I'll have to take a picture of it. I don't know if I took a picture of it. I found my very best and worst Halloween costume of all time. One year from Halloween, I was a tea bag for Halloween because I liked iced tea. And my parents let me do this. And I was a Lipton tea bag with like one of those like paper tags, and it was wow. And I was old enough in that picture that I should have known better. Like, how was I not getting my butt kicked in middle school for being, I think it was middle school. I don't know. It was maybe fifth grade. It was older than I really should have been. But whoo.
You were in
that was a good
college and it
one.
was a sexy tea bag, wasn't it? Hi,
Oh,
I'm a
it finds
slutty
out-
Lipton's tea bag.
Just walked around with a giant pair of testicles on her head.
I did have this what do you call it, this album that had me playing soccer in high school, and I wanted to show those pictures to our kid, but then later on in the album there were definitely some pictures from college. I was like, whoa, we're skipping this. She saw this one picture of me sitting on a bench with my head in my hands, and she was like, what's this? And I was like, that's my 21st birthday, and let's just keep flipping. And it was wow. I was like, oh, we gotta skip these. But thank God there was no Facebook then, right? That was a tangent. I'm sorry, y'all. No, that has been my geeky sweet. Just kidding.
Nice.
But I will talk about that in my geeky sweet, sort of. That's
Cool.
foreshadowing.
I can't wait to hear about it. It's going to be awesome.
I mean, I might even pull up my geeky sweet on my document.
Ooh, you mean get ready for the show that we're about to do? Nice.
I've done every other thing of prep. Because my internet is wonky, so I have to do like one on my phone and one on the computer. Like I can't do my Geeky Sweek and the article on the same device.
Wow. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's the only time it's ever a problem. So it's like whatever.
I just copy my story into a document and also have my Geeky Sweek above it.
Yep.
I just read my story off because I hate copy and pasting the story because you always get all the pictures and the formatting is weird. It just takes time. So I just read it off of the
fair enough.
Here's a little behind the scenes, folks. I just read it right off the article source.
I copy and paste it so I can write it appropriately as a script.
Yes.
I care.
I do it to trim it down.
I trim with my eyes.
He cares about nothing.
See, I do not have that ability. I am not somebody who can trim on the fly. I read everything that's right in front of me.
Getting trim on the fly.
From fly girl?
I also have a tendency to choose shorter articles that I could just read. But shh. Let someone else do the work for me. God, I wonder if I could pull off John Ralphio for a Halloween costume. That would be amazing. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. I need to get somebody to do that with me.
Don't be
But you gotta hurry because you need to make some prestige worldwide cards.
Money, please.
Prestige.
Right? I'm just open-minded like that. God, John Ralphio.
That was a character that should not work. That character should have been the most annoying thing on the planet, and oh my God, I loved it.
Right?
That's because Ben
Well,
Schwartz
Donna
is
really
a
shouldn't have worked
beast.
either. Donna, they're all horrible people, but also great people.
Except for Aziz Ansari's character. Never cared for him.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
He had his moments, I think, his moments of heart.
He
And his
had
relationship with
4
Donna, like the treat yourself,
moments.
like
Oh, sure.
I struck a little too close to home for you, sir.
But if it wasn't for other people being in the scenes with him, I'd have just fast forwarded.
you could have done without
like
him.
a little puppy. See, it's just a little puppy. I'm just a little puppy.
Yeah, I can't stand Tom.
God.
Tom was
Just
such a
little kid.
fucking annoying character.
Okay.
And DJ Roomba was fun, but again, that was another character that I think had more depth than Tom Haverford
Wow.
ever did.
Wow.
The only thing that I liked was the Reniswag because that was like clever. I was like, okay,
Right.
there we go. That's good. And
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is his character arc? He matured a lot. He had, in my mind, a very like Michael Scott-esque character arc from being like a clueless idiot who said a lot of insensitive things to like growing up a lot over the course of the show.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I mean, hey, look, Natalie Morales, fantastic, did some good for his character, but I still never, I just, Aziz Ansari, I am not his target demo. He annoys the shit out of me. Like
Some
I can,
people just like that.
and he plays the same character every time, and I can tolerate him on Bob's Burgers at least.
There you go, everyone. Now you know how to completely annoy Rich everywhere he goes.
Yep. Do you think Jedis had the same problem with getting their robes stuck underneath the wheels in their chair?
Yep. I just rolled up the butt part too.
Well, I'm in wheelchairs. No.
Flynn and I got into a very deep conversation one night. He probably doesn't even remember about like why like people in sci-fi don't have phones. I initiated this conversation after I think a couple of adult beverages or something along those lines. But yeah, you never really see anybody with like phones.
Well, they have communicators.
Communicators.
Sort of, but not like phones like how we think of it, you know?
Yeah.
We've evolved beyond phones.
I just always wondered how they would able to, like in Star Wars, how they would hear, because they would have a little thing that they'd talk into. Did it also have a speaker?
Right, right. You're not supposed to think about it that hard.
Exactly.
It's the world's smallest little Bluetooth.
Breathe
little-
and just relax.
Mhm. No, they just wore that at all times. In their ears. It was implanted.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah, let's do this, bitch.
I'll do it.
Oh, say that? I don't even know. I just did that.
Trick or treat. King size, please. It's GRD Sweekly. Woo!
Candy, please.
Right? It's all the good stuff. I want candy.
I see what you did there.
So, welcome to GRD Sweekly, episode number
323. 322.
Welcome to last week, everybody. The
24.
24.
From GeekRadioDaily.com, bringing you the show today. The woman who will not hold back. It's the Flintstress.
So do you want me to drive? Not on your life. Not on my life.
The lady who
Punch
has
it, Chewie.
The lady who has high standards, it's Carol the Cat.
Tough guys don't eat Jello.
They do not. You need to think about that. The man that knows how to deal with his lot in life, it's podcasting Drit Siegfried.
Be a man. Keep repeating. You're dead inside. You're dead inside.
And I'm the guy who recognizes greatness when he sees it. I'm the wonderful Billy Flynn.
This was no composition by a performing monkey.
No, it was much, much more than that. What in the hell happened geeky this weekified thing, yo?
Well, kind of lots of stuff. We have definitely been doing the geeky thing. So let's start with, okay, are we all caught up on all of our shows? Did we all do our homework? Are we good on Agatha? Are we good at
Yes.
Only Murders?
I'm good on Agatha. I'm good on Agatha. I'm one behind on Only Murders, but again, I don't care if you guys talk about it. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay if you talk
is
about
anyone
it.
watching The Penguin? Have
Not
talked
yet.
about it? We haven't
I'm
talked-
one episode behind on The Penguin as well because I started
Okay.
watching it.
Well, yeah,
So-
conversations that we should have had before starting. So sorry about that. Okay, let's start with Only Murders in the Building. Oh wow, a lot has happened since we have met. This show. Okay, so Carol, so you've now. Okay, so you said everybody said we're caught up. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. My favorite episode was when the actors solved the whole thing, sort of, right? Like where they were like, okay, and then they like, without any indication that they would have that capability leading up to this, right? And then they're like, boom, we solved it. And the fact that they referenced the fact that like actors do have to do a lot of like research on the different things when they take a role. This show in so many ways is a love letter to the industry, right? Of like the stunt people industry, the actors industry, you know, it's poking fun at the movies or this, that, and the other, right? But it's like, in a lot of ways, it's just cool. It's just, I love the show. And then, the twist in this episode, as far as we finally figure out who's trying to kill Saz, and like, wow, I definitely did not see that coming. Billy Flynn, did you see that coming?
Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. I was
So
like,
far, because there have been several times where we've thought it was somebody else,
that's a fair
and
point.
then it wasn't. We
That is a
won't
fair-
know until until you get the confession.
Because
Then
while
it could be anybody.
said person kill somebody, it was somebody from the point of view of thinking of how it might have occurred, not necessarily what actually happened.
That is very true. And they do like to do that to us in the show. However, wow. Because I thought they were trying to intimate that Project Ronkonkoko, whatever, was like a while ago. But because you didn't really see Ron Howard on the set at first in the clips. So I couldn't tell like how far away, like how long ago that happened with her protege. So essentially I was thinking that like I in my mind, I had ruled out younger people, right, as being like a recent protege.
Great. Now she knows the woman from floor 4 is not the killer. Way to go.
Right. So, I mean, just wow, every bit of the show is just wonderful, and I just love it. And yeah, there were some other parts too, and I can't remember what else I wanted to talk about. But it's just, this is one of those shows that I just look forward to all the time.
I tell you, my favorite part was when Steve Martin became furious in the most Steve Martin way possible. Gorgeous.
Hilarious. And Ron Howard was in this most recent episode, and that was so funny because with all of these like stories that Oliver Putnam tells, right, about how like he knows all these A-listers and he's like buddy with them, and they have these inside jokes, and you know that's like, you think, at least based on how his character is, that most of those are made up. And then you get one that actually does come to fruition. And, you know, Ron Howard even does the whole like slurp. And that was just, then it makes you re-examine all of his stories. Like, is he really, like, how many of those are actually true and how many are made up? So I don't know. I just,
Yes, Carol.
and then
Have
the
fun
whiskey,
justifying
the
Ron.
naughty secret, right? That was just so well done. Go ahead, Flynn.
I was just telling Carol to have fun justifying in her mind how Ron Howard is slurping in this episode.
No, thank you.
Well, when you see, you'll see.
You'd be like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Total sense.
Unless anybody else has anything else they want to say about Only Murders, gosh, I just absolutely love this show.
I mean,
And
it's
Selena Gomez is a gem and a jewel, and her just like deadpan delivery and just the because you can see yourself in the show from a lot of different characters' perspectives, and she just brings a different perspective, and I just really enjoy her as an actress. So, yeah, that's Only Murders. Okay, next on the list, Agatha All Along.
Oh my God.
Wow. So we get the big, reveal of who the guy is, the teen, right? And
If you collect Funko Pops you knew beforehand.
yeah,
It spoiled it on the box.
womp womp. But yeah, wow. So that was crazy the way this is all coming together with like William having like died and then Billy coming forward and just all of this and like what exactly, I mean, he's looking for Tommy at the end of the road, right? But like, wow. Oh, this show is just so many layers like an onion all the time. And gosh, this most recent episode where we were with Lilia, Patty LuPone's character. And she was time jumping through her life. Oh, that was so well done because that's hard to do with like in a way where you feel just the right amount of confusion, but you also sort of feel like you have an idea of what's going on and it builds in the right way. I just, not like I've ever tried to even make a basic movie, but I feel like that would be really hard to write and really hard to execute. And I just appreciated the heck out of that. And everybody on the show is just perfect in what they do. And I mean, Catherine Hahn is a national treasure. She's amazing.
Very true. And one of my favorite things about Firefly was when Summer Glau, oh my God, why am I blanking on her name? River, thank you. When River would say things that made no damn sense, but by the end of the episode, they made complete sense. Or if you rewatched it, it made complete sense. And so with Lilia finally getting those moments that we'd seen throughout the entire series, and not only does it make sense, but they're powerful moments. So it's not just throwaway things or, oh, here is another clue. It's just like, bam, here's a thing. Bam, here's a thing. Oh, loved it.
So a wacky little moment. When we went to watch this, our streaming thing flipped out and actually started playing the first episode. Do you know what the opening song is on the first episode?
I don't remember.
It's the Witch's Road.
Oh.
Not any cover we've heard. It's a cover by somebody else entirely, but it's the Witch's Road. And I'm like, oh my God.
Even during the detective episode, they're playing the song. Yep.
In Agnes of Westview, they play the Witch's Road.
That's fantastic.
Yes. It was wonderful.
Yeah, this was just a gem. I loved everything about this episode.
It was a powerful episode, and it was so cool seeing some of the things where what you thought was a danger was actually something that was a good thing. The swords falling,
right?
Because that gave them extra space to be able to, stay there longer as the ceiling was coming. But then the fact that a diviner or somebody who does divination, that's typically a defensive thing.
Yes.
Where you're able to see things ahead of time. And then for her to be the one to be able to make a major offensive move from that was just another one of those kick-ass flips that the show has been just amazing about, Love it.
Yeah, brilliant. The show is brilliant in every way. Ooh. Yeah. And just, I had something else and I lost it. But
still waiting for the scene where she makes out with Aubrey Plaza? Yes.
Yeah, you're still waiting for that scene. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see.
They going back to the 60s house?
Oh, I remember that because it's all about them coming together as a coven, but then also like either dealing with their own internal trauma or like resolving something unresolved in their own life at the same time. So it's both like individually personal to them and also about the fact that you need other people in order to be successful in life. And the way that they're coming together as they're all dying off is kind of like crazy at the same time. It's like when they finally connect to each other, then they selflessly sacrifice. But we don't know that any of them are actually all the way dead. I mean, we saw her fall, right?
Only Bucky stays.
Right.
Well, and something else that we have to we have to address, that apparently just beneath the Witch's Road is a series of tunnels that leads to a subway.
It's the Witch's Subway.
So it's not a mystical. So does that mean it's not actually a mystical place? It's
an
just
actual place.
it's a tangible physical place that exists in our universe. It's not.
It could be that it is, but you can only get to it by magic, maybe. But that it's still whole. But I guess but you're right. If you think of Themyscira, right, where it's a physical place, but you can't get to it because of the concealment that's in place. I mean, maybe that type of hybrid of it. But I don't know, because you're right. There is definitely a physicality to it, because why would a mythical place have a sub-mythical place below it, right?
Or a subway mythical place. Or a subway in the mythical place. Hey, sometimes you need a sandwich.
Metro mythical place, sir.
Yeah. So you got to suspend your disbelief at least a little bit in these shows,
No,
science
that's
fiction,
where I
so.
draw the line. I'm perfectly fine with ghosts, perfectly fine with magic and witches and all of that stuff. But a subway.
Subways have to have a regulatory system that were voted on by the people.
Exactly.
Right?
Bullshit.
And then that implies a government, and then you lose it. You lose the whole thing.
Council. Come on.
And now the witches comptrollers meeting.
Wow. That's that is the most boring sounding government job, right? I don't even know what they do, but it just sounds like the ultimate bureaucratic job.
Oh, they talk shit to the comps, man. That's all they do. Comptrollers. Oh yeah.
Got you. So we have been watching The Penguin. I think we are one behind on The Penguin. Yes. So, okay. So I could not handle the flashback episode where she's in Arkham, because that was done so well, but is a
The whole show's
personal
done
trigger
really,
for
really
me.
well.
Yeah, and so I had to walk away from that episode. I couldn't handle that episode because it was done so well, but too much. Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, I'm going, wait a minute. You're bringing Magpie into this show? Okay. Third tier, fourth tier villain.
Yeah. But it's just that was a thing that people did to silence women back in the day. Hardcore.
Flashy objects to just...
And just to think there's nothing you can do about it, the powerlessness. Whew. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, the machinations and all the cunning and the back and forth in this show, and it is you never know whose side the Penguin is on. And I think the only real answer is that he's only ever on his own side, and whatever benefits him in the moment is what he's going to do. He is literally all about living to the next moment. And that has got to be so stressful, right? That's not a good way to be,
Oh, it's a intense show. It's a very intense show.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
definitely
think
one
I
of those
could
I have to
binge
sort of
watch
spread
this.
out. I don't really want to let a bunch of episodes build up and watch a bunch in a row. It's not that kind of show, that's for sure.
That wouldn't work, I don't think.
But I do really love that, except for some mentions here and there of Batman or the Riddler doing different things, it could just be a standard organized crime show with a guy who happened to be particularly clever, kind of thing, right? So it's they have the seawall collapse and all of that extra stuff, but it really just could be a mob movie that we're watching in a very real way.
They just happen to have a vigilante somewhere.
Right.
Far back as I remember, I always wanted to be a penguin.
Well, and I was asking Flynn at one point, I was like, had we ever in comics or in another movie adaptation ever seen his foot or any evidence of physical deformity or any explanation for why he kind of walked the way that he walked or had what had happened to him? And yeah, you said you didn't think so?
No, I don't know of any designation of him having deformed foot. I don't know. No, nothing.
Well,
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
In Batman Returns, He
In
had
Batman
flippers.
Returns, Tim Burton made him deformed.
He just made his whole body deform, though.
Well, he had the flippers too.
Mhm.
He had
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he
that's
had, like,
right. That's right.
he
Yeah,
was like
that was very penguiny. Yeah,
but that was it. But then he was raised by penguins. So
and he really leaned in. Tim Burton does not do anything halfway, people. That is for sure.
he's not subtle. No, he's not a subtle
No,
film
no.
director at all.
Danny
Not at all
DeVito
subtle. But
analysis. What's going
subtle.
on
They're
here?
not. Yeah, they're not doing any particularly overt kind of penguin imagery or anything like that. They only drop it every
Yeah.
now and then as like an insult because people are using it to make fun of how he walked or whatever. So I don't know. So, but yeah, the show it's definitely not lighthearted. It's funny that when we watch TV at home, sometimes we'll do like I'll need a palate cleanse,
Mhm.
right? So if we're watching like a heavy show, then I'll save like something fun and lighthearted to end the
Oh, sure.
evening on. I don't know if other people do that too, but yeah. So this is not one of the ones you don't want to go to sleep on this show.
No, I watch either a couple meme videos or Hana and Kataro, the two otters. I tell you, you want to have a peaceful palate cleanser. Watch Hana and Kataro, the two little otters, and they're adorable and they play and stuff
Are
like
they
that.
the ones that hold hands
Sometimes,
and float
yeah.
around?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh. So a show that Billy Flynn and I both love, has come back on, and that is Tracker.
Tracker.
Starring the one, the only Justin Hartley. We can all have a simultaneous sigh over Justin Hartley. He was sort of shirtless in the first episode, but Plex hadn't updated, so we haven't actually seen anything beyond the first episode. And I think we talked about the first episode last week.
Did because I was very confused how you continuously filmed him shirtless from a bed and never showed his nipples.
Right. Yep, I remember this conversation. Okay, moving on. We also have we watched the first episode of the newest season of What We Do in the Shadows. Have you guys seen
Yes.
this one yet?
First two
Yes,
episodes,
God.
Well, I
savoring
didn't
them.
realize there were two. We watched the first. I was like, "Hey, you want to watch the next one?" I'm like, "I can't." God.
Yeah, late at night. So we've only watched the first episode. We haven't watched the second episode yet.
It's
But
good.
gosh, it is so like them to forget about a roommate. And then for him to come back and be super annoying in his own unique way. And oh yeah, we were going to conquer the world. Well, but whatever.
I love how they're not even bothering to hide the fact that the actress that played Natya is pregnant.
Mhm.
Whatever.
Just-
Whatever.
And the fact that
I'll
he
put a
Jerry
pillow on my lap.
and the fact that Jerry questioned, why is there camera crews? What is going on? And they're
And
like,
clueless. They're like, why
Yay.
do we have?
They're,
Right, let's
I
ask
don't
Gizmo.
remember.
they're cool.
No, they're cool.
Oh, the show.
He's my good time boy. My
I'm sad it's the last season. I will miss that show so much.
oh
Yeah.
yes.
But you don't want them to stretch it beyond the natural
Mm-hmm.
limits of what it needs to be, And I think there could be an argument that maybe it is there or getting there or whatever. I'm not saying anything. It's just been, one episode, but Guillermo's living in the shed now or whatever. I mean, I don't know. So,
got
but
a big boy
I'll
job.
watch every minute of that show. Don't get me wrong.
He's got a big boy
Let's-
job.
Yeah. So I have also been watching Shogun. I'm about 8 episodes in.
So good. It's so good.
Whoa. So
Incredibly intense, incredibly violent, but so good.
oh, right. So I'm watching it in the Japanese with the written subtitles, partly because I always try to do that anyway. I feel like that's the more authentic way that it's intended, but also I didn't realize that there was an English dub at first, but at the same time, I generally do prefer to do that, except that, with ADHD, it's hard because that means I really actually have to pay attention, because I'll be listening and I'll be like, wait, I don't actually understand what they're saying. You can get the gist of it sometimes that they're arguing or whatever, but I've definitely missed a couple of key plot holes and or plot points and had to go back and be like, wait a minute. Oh, wait, what did this guy just do? Why are we trying to kill him now?
Billy, sweetie, why do they keep? When are they going to show the gun? It's literally the title. What is happening here?
Show me the gun. It's a show gun.
There have
Mom would
been
be so
guns.
pissed right now.
There have been guns. And you know what? I'm going to also admit to a little bit of like my own bias and like failing sometimes, as even though I would consider myself an anti-racist who like actively works to try to be inclusive of people.
But
Sometimes it does take me a long time when I'm watching a cast that is predominantly of a different culture from mine to be able to tell the people apart. At first, like it takes me longer than if there's like vast differences between the people in the cast. So
in
it's just
fairness, Aziz Ansari does look much different than everybody else.
right. Aziz Ansari is great in Shogun.
And look,
But
in fairness, if I tried to watch one of those housewives of wherever, I'm not gonna be able to keep them
I
straight
don't
either because they
think
all freaking
that's
look the
true.
same to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, so now I think I've gotten it. You know, you start, it's like twins. Eventually you start to like pick up on a thing that is different or whatever. Or, you know, the show goes on and you know more about their personality. And just like it's also, I think that I've read or seen that it's a pretty accurate depiction of like
Yeah.
feudal Japan. And so it's fascinating from a historical point of view as well, because you know about the ritual suicide and the like honor to the highest level and some of these things like, but to see these like examples and these people bringing these lives to life on screen, you know, it's like a whole new level. So it's like history come alive with a whole bunch of murder and sex and, you know,
And violence.
swearing and craziness. God, I love the part. Okay, so the most recent episode that I watched is when they finally let what's his name, the barbarian guy, go to see his men, and he wants no part of them anymore, right? Is
Yeah.
how much he had acclimated to Japanese society, but yet he chafes so much in Japanese society as well, which is like a commentary on can you ever really like fit in two worlds? It's man, yeah, this show is legit. It's yeah, there's times where it's just kind of like I don't know, a little bit slow here and there or whatnot. But also the episode with the earthquake, like the way that they filmed that, like
Yeah,
that
the way they
was
filmed it.
scary.
This thing,
Like,
I think the
whew,
show won the most Emmys of any show
yeah,
this past year. It totally deserved it.
yeah. I think they
Yeah, I think
won a yeah, yeah, Emmys for television shows. I was like, they won some
yeah.
Academy Awards too, but I was like, wait, no,
Yeah.
that's just the movies. Just for a second, my brain had a little bit of a but yeah, they did. And I know the Lord Tanagaka, or I didn't say that right, but like the main guy, and also one of the lead women who was yeah, they're just phenomenal in this, and the costuming and like the set
Are
design and everything. It's
you
just
Sonata?
yes, and so it feels
Yeah.
like being transported. It's very immersive and everything. So I'm very much enjoying that show. Um, and then I've been digitizing a bunch of photos recently. We had death in the family, and you know, while one of those like it's obviously sad and really upsetting, but like the silver lining is, you know, things like you get to see a bunch of people that you don't reconnect with some family members, and you know what they say, like weddings and funerals, right? And like I've been going through and digitizing photos, and Google Photos actually has some really some really cool features that are built in that are, I wouldn't call it like AI per se, but like, you know, if you like take a picture of a picture, it's not always going to come in right. Like the angle might be a little bit off, or like a little bit of a glare here and there, but it's like it's gotten a lot better at being able to kind of cancel some of those things from your natural environment. It's got like an auto resizer. And then plus some of these photos that especially the ones from like the 70s that are on like Polaroid, are kind of dark. So with just like a little bit of a filter to brighten it up with just one of those presets that's already there, it's like I might actually go through and do a whole like hobby. I say this, but like, you know, I mean, it's the kind of thing that you could take a bunch of the pictures and then you could go sit at the, you know, while you're watching TV and do some cropping or do some this, that, and the other. You know, it's kind of one of those hobbies you could just sort of like do here and there. But you think of like, we have all the stuff from when your granny passed, and like we have a lot of stuff. We're like the archivists of both sides of our families. So it's like, I don't know. I think That would be kind of cool. Unfortunately, there's so much that's not labeled that I have no idea who the people are. So it's like, I need to give like collective access to a whole bunch of people and maybe they can go in and tag because there's still some of the older folks that are around. Like Pat would probably know who most of those people are. So I don't know. I'm just thinking, I personality wise am really big on ideating and getting things started and not so great on the follow through. So we'll see if it ever goes anywhere beyond just getting together this slideshow project that I'm working on and going through this current set. But I was just kind of inspired. And I've also was thinking about doing some like ancestry stuff and would be interested if anybody's done that. I don't want to give my DNA to anyone, but I kind of like the one where you like plug it in and it gets your census information and all of that, ancestry or one of those types of things. So
That's
I don't know. I've been thinking about doing kind of does that mean I'm getting old because now I actually like care about
You're
where I came
looking
from?
for your roots, trying to find your
Right?
roots. Yeah.
I guess. So, I mean, I may have forgotten something, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that has been my geekiest week.
Carol.
Thanks,
Okay,
babe.
next. Okay, so besides What We Do in the Shadows, which I've been watching, and Agatha All Along, I've also been watching Great British Bake Off, and the last two eliminations have hurt, but justified. This is a season where I like everybody. I don't want anybody to go. So, but I'm of course enjoying that. It's a fun show.
I haven't started watching it. I'll get to that. I'm going to put that on my list for like after Shogun next. I forgot that was
Yeah.
another season out.
A great
Yeah, we're on. Yeah, I think we're on episode 5 tomorrow. But
Nice.
yeah, and then I'm following this lady on TikTok that's doing a bake based on the outfit Noel is wearing for the previous episode. So she's
I love it.
making cakes and bread based on the sweater or outfit that Noel's
Awesome.
wearing.
And does she
So,
do
and then I also,
the challenge? Like, is she doing like bread and
no,
pastry?
she's
and
not doing
cake?
the
No.
challenge. She like baked a cake of his sweater. I am following another guy that's trying to do all of the technical challenges in the time
Wow.
allotted.
Wow.
And he's just an American baker, and he's finding it very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So, so besides those two, I'm also watching a show called Uzumaki on Max. This is an anime. It's based on a manga that I absolutely love called Uzumaki. That's the Japanese word for spiral, and it's about a town that. This is going to sound really stupid, but it's actually incredibly creepy. It's about a town that becomes possessed by spirals. In everything. So it sounds stupid, but it's actually quite creepy. The anime is done in a very unique black and white line style. It looks like a moving manga, but I noticed from episode 1 to episode 2 there was a major drop in the quality of the animation, particularly the backgrounds.
It's like
It was
people
like
who draw that horse, where you draw the first part of the horse and it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Aw.
close-ups were still pretty good, but the backgrounds, it kind of went like going from Akira
But
to
you got
Speed
cut.
Racer. So everything's just static. But I'm still sticking with it because I like the story, and I do think it's actually telling the manga really well. So I'm enjoying that.
Stay with it after you find who the big bad is.
Do the what?
You're gonna stay with the show when you learn who the big bad is in your spiral.
Oh yeah, probably. I have seen the. I've read the manga. I can't remember.
Oh, you're okay with
But
the spirograph. Cool.
yeah, spirograph. Yeah, it's the big spirograph.
Are you going to find out it's Darren Aronofsky?
The spirograph. I'd pay money to see that.
And then I
spirograph.
Look at this
And then I've been
spirograph. Sorry.
Let Carol do her bit.
Oh my god! Oh my god! And then I've been watching a bunch of movies. Oh my god! It is difficult to see things on a phone when all you see is red. Okay, so I'm seeing red. I ended where last time? I keep track of all the movies I watch.
Ow.
There we go. So I started with Gandahar, which is a 1987 animated film.
Okay.
That I stopped on the poster, which that's the. Let me see the poster.
Nope, can't see.
Giant wings. I can't tell what that is.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, the lighting is off. But yeah, it's has the voices of Glenn Close and a couple of other kind of tiered people, but it's so weird. The animation is pretty good, and I like the story in a corny 80s sci-fi kind of way. But everyone talks like this in the movie. They all just keep saying their lines in this very calm, almost William Shatner type voice. And it was driving me nuts.
Well, if you stay calm, things will be able to be solved more quickly in a more efficient manner.
But I kind of want to own it because it's just so kitschy. It was one of those movies that I rated 1.5 stars, but I liked it. Um, then I'm gonna save that one for last. Then I watched Maxine, which is the final movie in the Ty West X trilogy. This is the worst of the three.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Mia Goth fan. I don't understand that particular bandwagon. I don't think she was good in this movie at all. She was terrible. And her accent, her southern accent is at one point like a police officer, because this takes place during the summer of the Night Stalker murders, and she's being targeted. So this cop is talking to her, and they're trying to find the Night Stalker, and the cop's like, "You should be helping us save the next girl." And she turns around, she's like, "Well, that girl should be saving herself."
Oh my God. Oh, there's nothing better than a terrible Southern accent.
Shay was dope.
But it was so bad. And then it just ends. It's not a good film at all. I'm not a big fan of the entire trilogy, but this one was the worst. Then I watched a movie that on my streamer was called No Vacancy. On Letterboxd, it's called The Helpers, and that makes more sense.
There was plenty of room. Plenty of room.
There was. They rented rooms. There was vacancy. This is a terrible film, but I was sticking with it because the premise is this group of kids. When was this made? 2012, it looks like. It's typical. They're driving on this back road. They get a flat tire. They find a hotel gas station. They rent rooms, and then the owners of the hotel gas station kill them. It's kind of that standard slasher movie. The only thing is, when they go to this gas station and ask for help, these people are like really eager to help them. And oh, yeah, you can stay here for free and we'll get your truck fixed and you can get on the road tomorrow. And then, of course, they start killing them in horrifying ways.
As you do.
Whenever they're asked, why are you doing this? The guys are like, we're helping you. And I was sticking with it because even though the acting was terrible and the writing was terrible, that's kind of a perverse plot. These guys thinking they're actually helping them by killing.
Wow.
But then they ruined it all in the last 10 minutes by explaining why they did everything. So it was terrible. It was really terrible.
Stop explaining things, people. Mystery.
Yes, please leave it. And then I watched a movie, review will go up tomorrow, called Strange Darling. This one is currently sitting at number 5 in my top movies of the year.
Oh, nice.
Really, really liked it.
Okay.
The only thing I'm going to say is it's about a serial killer and a victim.
What was it called?
It's called Strange Darling. I rented this one on Prime. I missed it in the theaters. I kind of wanted to see it in the theaters because I was hearing good things about it. But I was like, I don't think it would really benefit. I don't think I'm going to get everything. What am I going to get from the big screen of this? And I'm sorry I didn't because oddly, this one the cinematography is done by Giovanni Ribisi, the actor.
Okay.
And he's got an eye because it's a beautiful film for a cat and mouse chase movie.
Right.
But yeah, really, really, really liked that one. And then I did an episode on my 31 Days of Halloween, which is kind of sporadic and definitely not going day to day. At this point, it's going to be like, welcome to the day 31 of the 31 Days of Halloween and Happy New Year's Eve, because that's about probably going to end it.
Go for it.
Anyway, I did an episode where I went through Variety's 100 best horror films because I was curious to see how many I had seen and if I agreed. There were
120
13
of them
that I had not seen.
I figured you watched 120 of them.
No, there were 13 I had not seen. There's one that I have no intention of watching. I have no wish to watch Salo, 120 Days of Sodom. Pay me money if you want me to sit through that shit.
I think I've heard
Anyway,
about that.
Yeah. But I'm starting to watch the other 12 that I hadn't seen, and that included Cat People from 1947. I had seen the remake, but not the original.
Oh.
And I really enjoyed that. Very atmospheric. I liked it quite a bit.
And where the spring-loaded cat comes from.
Yes, that is where the spring-loaded cat comes from. Yes.
Wow. Nice.
So I can recommend Cat People. And then I watched a 1928 film called A Page of Madness. This is a Japanese film.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved this one. This is kind of an experimental, almost 100-year-old movie. No dialogue, so you don't have to read anything, although it's a silent movie, so you'd have to read it anyway. But really creepy and does not seem like it's 100 years old. It's really looks, for a silent movie, it looks very modern. So highly recommend that one. And then I walked with a Zombie, which other than some 1940s and 50s racism, was actually a pretty good film. Very moody, very atmospheric. I like that one too. And then I went to a haunt. A friend of mine, Mia, who does Reef Ride scenes with me, her daughter, who is 12, HB, wanted to go to her first haunt. So she did research and she decided we would go to Fear Farm in Blacksburg, South Carolina. So we drove down there and we had a fun time.
Was it spooky?
I would recommend.
How was it?
It's like a family.
Was it spooky?
It was good. They have about six. Yeah, they have about 6 different areas of their farm. It's a family-owned farm. It's not like it's a very obviously a working farm that they turn into this every Halloween. Our only hesitation was we were going through their website on the way there, and there were 2 areas we weren't really interested in. One was the Big Top because HB does not do clowns. And my personal opinion is if you put a man in a evil clown costume, he's going to act like a complete and total asshole to you. So I don't want to be near them. Yeah. So we were going to skip the Big Top and we wanted to skip the blackout room because that just kind of triggers my claustrophobia. And I don't find them, other than triggering my claustrophobia, it doesn't scare me at all. It's just a black room. And unfortunately, you have to go through the black room at this farm. So we went through. It was incredibly long, and I opened a knuckle running into a wall. It was a black room. I wasn't acting the way the workers wanted me to act because every time they would flash lights and scream, I would be like, "Oh, thank God, light!"
Right.
So, thank you. Could you please?
You're like, and I spot my exit, right? Like you were just waiting for those moments. Yeah.
It was, so we did that, and then we did the haunted mill, and then at that point HB was, I think, done because she was the very last person in our group going through the blackout room. So the workers were basically following her the whole time, and she was like, I think I'm done. I think we can go home. So
guys,
but it's fine. She was not turned off of haunts. She's already like talking about next year maybe we do 2. So
you know what? The ones at amusement parks are usually pretty good. Not, like you could pick it based on the theme of it, and there's never any places where it's too dark, and there's like an exit if you need. They have like regulations. So that's what I always like to do. Is like the amusement parks.
Regulate.
We had thought about Scarewinds, but Scarewinds is so expensive. It's like a $70 trip. This place was nice. They did have something that they called a no touch button, which if you buy it, if you start to get a little like terrified, you can hit it and this light starts, and then all of the monsters won't.
Okay, they do have that at
That's
Busch
awesome.
Gardens too. That's cool. Okay.
So it's a nice family run farm. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of a spooky drive. Driving home was kind of spooky. So but we had fun, and I got these really cool ghost earrings that are probably a little too heavy for my ears, and I might turn them into tree ornaments, but I got these in some candy corn. And other than that, preparing for the Geekery Market on November 9th.
Yeah.
It's the last minute push. And that has been my geeky streak.
Woo.
Do you want to tell people a little bit more about the market if they are, maybe
Yeah,
new to the
market
show?
is November 9th. It's at the Concord or the Cabarrus County Arena in Concord, North Carolina. It's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So it's only a few hours, but there'll be 90 geeky artists there. We'll have some Star Wars stuff. We'll have a Ghostbusters car. We'll have Swordwind doing some sword demonstrations outside. Valentine Wolf is providing some ambient shopping music inside. We have a Jedi Santa for the kids.
Nice.
It's
Ooh.
there's lots of stuff for kids to do and lots of shopping. So come and get your Christmas shopping done early, and you can
I was
find
gonna
more
say, yeah, that
information.
sounds like a good place to, because
Yeah,
a lot of us with geeks in our lives, like, yeah, there's Etsy and there's other things like that, and I'm not bashing any of those types of sites, but to be able to actually see it and touch it and
yeah,
interact with the
yeah.
creator right then and there, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like some of these artists, like last year, we have a guy that he hand paints short boxes for comics. Um, and I had bought one, flash one for my brother for Christmas. And then last year I contacted him before the market and I was like, hey, do you have anything for Grendel? Because that's kind of like his favorite.
Nice.
And he's like, I don't, but I can probably make one. Let me go through my comic book stash because he uses old battered comics
Sure.
and to decorate. And he had one ready for me the next day.
Wow.
It still smelled of paint, but
Mm-hmm.
he made one for me, and yeah, that was I got one for my brother for Christmas again. I got him a Grundy one, so yeah. But there's a lot of artists. If you don't see something that um just fits you, talk to them because they can probably. These are all handmade stuff. It's not we're not letting in like Funko Pops. So
Nice.
geekerymarket.com or charlottegeeks.com for more information.
Do it, dog.
All right, my geeky week. I helped found a gang in Red Dead RP. That's
Nice.
kind of cool. Saw the trailer for Creature Commandos coming to Max.
I
Yeah,
don't know this. I haven't seen this.
it's an animated series brought to you by Mr. James Gunn, and it looks really cool. It's basically a monster version of the Suicide Squad and Doom Patrol, which
Nice.
cool. Yeah, I'm in. Looks like a lot of fun. One of my kids came to hang for a couple days, and then they went. They took a plane up to Ohio to go see Mickey Dolenz live
All right.
of the Monkees.
One of your kids?
Yes. One of my 21-year-olds.
I can't tell if you're doing something right or something very, very wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Kids lose bets too.
But no, he wanted to, and so he went up and caught Mickey Dolenz live. Of course, the last remaining member alive of the Monkees. They had a blast. Of course, watching Only Burgers in the Building, which is Only
Nice.
Murders and Bob's Burgers at the same time. Agatha All the Way. Both Agatha and Only Murders are just so damn
Right.
good.
Really great seasons.
Just both of them are. It's not that they're just great seasons; they're being great shows.
Mhm.
Just all the way around. Absolutely love them. What We Do in the Shadows, of course, came back. Watched the first 2 episodes. Missed that show. I'm gonna miss it again once it's gone, but it's one of those ones that shouldn't. This spin-off should never have existed in the first place. The original movie should have never existed in the first place. And I'm so glad that we get to live in a world where it does.
So go back in time.
Hmm?
A commercial for the show is coming soon, and I just laughing my ass off. And she's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Wait. I've never had you watch What We Do in the Shadows," and we immediately watched the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I love
Oh,
the.
God, I can't wait for the show.
I remember the time Peter threw a water bottle at me because I told him he should be on the chores wheel.
They're werewolves, not swearwolves. So good. And so I finally actually sat down and watched a show that is easily in my top 10 of all time. And I hadn't watched the last season, because I didn't want to acknowledge that it was the last season, but it is just a wacky show that is just, it's made for an audience of me.
Letterkenny?
Well, no. Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh my God, dude. Yes.
And I mean, I really enjoyed the first season, but once they started to embrace the silly and turn into the freaking skid, I was just like, this is the greatest show ever. I mean, everything Bebo and it's just that show is just outstanding and amazing. And I was so glad that that Matt Ryan got to be in the last season, even though Constantine wasn't, as another character. And it was just so good. And I just adore all of those characters. They were just so wonderfully played out and just so much fun. So I'm bummed that there's no more, but again, we have gotten to live in, well, I don't know if I'd necessarily say a golden age of television, but we have got some shows that should never have existed in the first place, and they made the world better for it. And speaking of making the world better for it, and even though this is not a time that we have ever wanted to live in, and I think we all look forward to hopefully soon going back to less interesting times, I voted early.
Nice.
And
yeah.
So for those of you out there, go to iwillvote.com to make sure that you are registered. If you are not registered, if you forgot to register, if you were dropped from because of one of the what should be a normal voter registration purge that they do to get rid of dead people and whatnot, but you got accidentally broomed. When you go in, you can ask for a provisional ballot. Just remember that there have been people for generations that have had to do so much tougher things to defend democracy. We don't have to pick up a gun. We don't have to pick up any weapon. We don't have to go to another country. All we have to do is go and vote. Fill in a little bubble, push a little button, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The least you can do for enjoying all of the awesome things that we do. And screw anybody who says America is a trash can. Because I am proud to be an American.
Let's make
it's
it
not just
a
a
trash
song.
can with our vote.
Exactly. So that has been my Geeky Speak.
Ooh. So I decided, okay, I've got to check in with the new season of American Horror Stories. The
Is that called? Is that Grotesquerie?
No,
Or is that a completely different show?
That's a different show.
American Horror Stories is the third season of the anthology. No, Grotesquerie is completely. So only 2 episodes in. The first one is not for me. I'm the wrong audience. It's for a, wait for it, much younger audience, because it deals more. It brings the horror with online bullying and shit like that. So while I can sort of understand that, it's not something I deal with on a daily basis. The second one I found quite interesting because dude gets a prototype digital assistant. And the American Horror Story version of that and where that goes, you think you see coming, and then there's just a slight enough twist that you're like, oh, hey, I saw that movie. That works really, 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 really well for that.
Wow.
Obviously, I've kind of lost this week for, personal stuff. So I've read some comics, DC Horror Presents, because, the comic book companies like to put out Halloweenish versions of things. Absolute Power 4 wraps up the whole Absolute Power storyline of how Amanda Waller used AI to convince the world that superheroes are bad people. And not to spoil anything, but it turns out, this whole thing happened because the big superheroes weren't talking anymore. So they're bringing the Justice League back. So there'll be a new Justice League comic coming out soon. Oh yes, and to stop all of the nonsense of all this, they had to lock the multiverse again. So DC, once again now, no longer has a multiverse until it does again. Zatanna, Bring Down the House 4. It's a fantastic origin story for Zatanna. I love what they've done with this and how John Constantine fits into her life. So by all means, any and everybody should get that. Wow. Until she blinked out of existence, I love that she was going toward the cockpit. That was great. That was fantastic.
I'm just trying to figure out who's flying.
Right?
Why is she turning her back to the
Why
front?
is it taking so long to get there?
And what chair is she sitting in?
So I have finished the main story of Star Wars Outlaws.
Nice.
We got all the side quests.
Oh, well, here's the thing. So I'm going back to the side quests. I'm on this one planet. I'm doing a bunch of them. Then I decide, oh, here's this mission I got to do. So I'm going to go to Tatooine. So I hop in my ship and I go into orbit and I set up my coordinates. I get clear for hyperspace and I push the two thumbstick buttons and nothing happens. I can't get my ship to go into hyperspace. And I got frustrated. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put this down for now because I can't deal with it because I'm going to have to go and try the actual keyboard command for launch your goddamn spaceship to see if that works, because for some reason I could not leave the system, and there was more stuff to do on that planet, but I really wanted to go do this thing on Tatooine because, it's Tatooine, it's always going to be a good time. So we'll have to figure out what the hell's going on with that. But no, the story, if you play through it, it's so great. We do. I don't remember if I told last time. Did I talk about the Vader cameo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We did Vader one more time because, we're digital, so he can send a little message. But no, I like the
Vader one more time.
I like the way that whole thing played out. That's fantastic. Next month, we do get the first DLC, which is a Sabacc tournament in which Lando Calrissian is at. So I think we'll be doing more than just, Sabacc and the whole thing. So, no, I don't care. There's people that, they're saying, it hasn't sold, they hate it, whatever. This is a fantastic effing game. So if it runs on sale because of this, by all means, pick it up. You will not be disappointed. At the time of your life playing Star Wars Outlaws, it is simply tremendous. So that's my week.
The wonderful Billy Flynn looks at what Chad and Abby are up to now. If you know what TV show they're on this week, you could win yourself a prize. It's your Further Adventures of Chad and Abby update. Chad and Stefan are on the scene when a fight breaks out between a valet and a high-powered attorney named Justin, who tries to use his money to smooth the whole thing over. He even tries to say he got roughed up during the arrest. Now, Chad knows this is bogus, but when he tries to prove it, he ends up facing the same charge. Then the clock is ticking down for a death row inmate who hears that there's this robbery and murder committed that's quite similar to the one he was convicted for. So he begs Chad and Stefan to check it out and clear his name. Then the crew learns that a gang of crooks are going to rob the payroll at a baseball stadium. Sure, and Brady goes undercover as an employee to get the whole thing smoothed out. Oh! The case is to be solved by the violation force, the crime crew, the wrongdoing outfit. Hashtag Chabby. Forever.
You've got to fail.
Indeed we do. Hey, GRD. Danger Rangers? You decided to make me relive the trauma of my childhood by reminding me of Danger Rangers? I mean, at least there were some good life lessons, bike safety rules, being careful of dog bites, water safety, not skateboarding up the side of the Statue of Liberty. Look, this thing wasn't even 20 episodes, and they had a clip show for a cartoon. And even as a kid, I thought that was lame. Wait, it was 2005. I mean, it did not jump the couch. That is for Micah. Well, I don't remember jumping the couch being a thing in 2005, but I wasn't a kid, so I guess that was the cool, hip slang. Yes, I decided to break out a PBS cartoon last time, Danger Rangers, which has nothing to do with Chip and Dale, and that's a cartoon. I know, right? Hey, if you'd like to drop us a note, say some stuff, whatever, you can send a text message to podcast@geekradiodaily.com. You can send a voicemail or text message to the magic numbers of
510 GRD Crew.
And hey, don't forget I said there was a goddamn contest. I don't know how many we have, but I'm at 100. I've got this
We have
goddamn
13 more. 13 more.
Really? Nice. So cool. We're getting there. So Boba Fett
Wait a minute.
still on the line.
How many did we want? How many did we want?
100. Yeah, 100.
Oh.
I know I'm a man.
need
I want more than anyone's willing to give me. It's just the way of the world.
So we want 63 more.
So
Wasn't there something we were supposed to remind you about?
there is, and I'm going to get there. But I was going to finish that sentence, but since we'll go ahead. So tomorrow night you should come join us. It'll be on Twitch. We'll be playing some Jackbox games, and we'll be premiering the new Jackbox pack. Yes, there was a new one a couple weeks ago, but the Jackbox Survey Scramble, I think they call this one, is out tomorrow. So there's 4 new games for us to play that are all somewhat survey related. So we'll see how that goes, and you can come along, possibly play along, but definitely be in the audience and sway the vote and do what you do best: judge other people. Huh?
Survey says it sounds like fun.
Alrighty then. Did not expect that at all. Oops, wrong button.
This is Travis from Twitch.tv.
It's doubling. Double audio. Weird.
This is Travis from Twitch.tv/Travis Tavern Talk, and I'm a writing beast. I write fantasy like the Downfall series and the Portal series, sci-fi like my Silver and Smith and Ethium, and non-fiction like my 27 Thoughts on Life series, all on my live stream. You can find these books and more on Amazon.com or go to bit.ly/Travis Books. That's bit.ly/Travis Books.
Hey everybody, this is Mad Magazine artist Tom Richmond, and as one of the usual gang of idiots, I know idiots when I see them, and you are listening to a few right now on Geek Radio Daily.
Huh? It's the good stuff. Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
I think there was something else I was going to say, but now I don't remember, so I guess I'll just push this button that hopefully I fixed.
I'm not wearing any pants. Film at 11.
Geek News!
The world from a geeky point of view.
Well, long-running production company Alcon Entertainment, who helped produce Blade Runner 2049 at Warner Brothers Pictures, is suing Tesla over use of unlicensed promotional materials made by feeding an AI image generator photos from the film. I know. Elon Musk taking credit for something he has nothing to do with? Shocking! Alcon filed the lawsuit this week in California federal court, accusing Elon Musk and Tesla of misappropriating the film's brand to promote the Tesla robo-taxi at a recent showcase. Alcon says it doesn't want their film to be affiliated with Musk due to his extreme views. The filing comes as Alcon and has the upcoming spin-off TV series Blade Runner 2099 in the works. Of course, I personally would be more worried about the cars blowing up, but you do you, boo. The complaint states any prudent brand considering any Tesla partnership has to take Musk's massively amplified, highly politicized, capricious, and arbitrary behavior. Ooh, don't get to use the word capricious often, which sometimes veers into hate speech into account. Alcon did not want BR 2049 to be affiliated with Musk. The complaint includes claims for copyright infringement and false endorsement, naming Warner Brothers Discovery for allegedly facilitating the partnership. Alcon reportedly indicates it was not informed about the brand deal between Tesla and Warner's until the day of the unveiling. Musk, of course, was approached for comment, and he merely responded in a strained Austrian accent, "Sue me, dickhead."
Wow.
The sad thing is, he's got so many lawyers, he could tie this whole thing up in appeals, and all the complaints will just get lost like tears in the rain.
See, I went Johnny Cab, Total Recall.
I love that. I love that.
Speaking of tears and people needing lawyers, there's good omen news and bad good omen news. Creator Neil Gaiman, recently accused of sexual assault by multiple women, and he has denied these allegations, of course, has officially departed the series, ostensibly making way for fans to watch its upcoming third season with a clear conscience. But instead of a full slate of episodes, Prime Video will bid farewell to Michael Sheen's Aziraphale and David Tennant's Crowley in a single 90-minute special. This news comes from Deadline, which explains plans for a full third seasons are off the table, with Gaiman exiting after allegations were made against him by a slew of women. Slew. The trade describes the Good Omens special as a one-off television movie.
Too many.
Yeah.
The slew is, it's well, started with 2 and it's going higher. It's unfortunate. Damn you, Neil Gaiman's penis. The trade describes the Good Omens special as a one-off television movie and notes it begins filming early next year in Scotland after pre-production was paused due to the allegations. Gaiman has served as writer, producer, and showrunner on Good Omens. Deadline reports that Gaiman contributed to the writing of the series finale, but will not be working on the production, and his production company, The Blank Corporation, is no longer involved. A new writer is expected to finish up the work, although insiders said that the deal has not been closed. The series is adapted from Gaiman's 1990 novel, co-written with the late Terry Pratchett. Gaiman's departure is not exactly a surprise. The assault allegations came to light in July via a podcast series, as well as coverage in other media, including Rolling Stones. Despite denying the claims, the author has said to have offered to step back from working on Good Omens. Controversy behind the scenes notwithstanding, that any version of Good Omens season 3 is moving forward at all is good news for fans of the show. At the end of season 2, the odd couple main characters, having just smooched for the first time, were once again separated thanks to their pesky cosmic conflict over one being an angel and the other being a demon. I would just like to say thank you for at least giving us a 90-minute special. That's more than they did for a lot of television shows. And yeah, get a good lawyer.
The book was made into a show at all, obviously, right?
Well, yeah. And I will say, having read the book, it is probably mostly Pratchett. There's some Gaiman in there, but it's mostly Pratchett. But it was Gaiman that got the show off the ground to begin with. So it's unfortunate that he's had to step back, but it is understandable.
Sadly.
Sadly.
Well, I mean, if only there was some technology that he could have had back in the day that would have helped him to avoid this. But
Therapy?
there's new technology out now. That was a terrible segue, and that's okay. I was grasping at straws here. But
chastity belt?
This is, one of the things that I like to really bring to like the GRD tables. I try to find like a science or a technology news. And really, I mean, AI dominates everything around us these days, right? And then it's kind of, on the one hand, it's kind of cool because you get something out of it, like, the fact that they have earbuds that can translate with different languages and some of these different technologies that come out that really bring us together and connect us as people. Well, a couple of students took the Meta glasses, those like big, thick, plasticky ones, and have written code for it. Essentially, a facial recognition software that can, as they're walking around, they can figure out who people are, right? So yeah. So here's what happened. This guy, Kashif Hoda, was waiting for a train near Harvard Square in Boston, and a young man comes up to him and asks him for directions, right? He noticed the guy's nerdy glasses, but he didn't really realize that they were the Ray-Ban Meta Smart glasses, right? There was a little white light that says that you're recording. Because this also talks about, recording consent. When you hold up your phone, people at least sort of know that you could be recording them, even though people are secretly recording all the time, etc., right? The ethics of this is definitely a little squirrely. Anyway, so then later, right, as the train was pulling into the station, the guy with the glasses, who's a junior in Harvard, approached him again and said, "Hey, do you happen to be the person working on some kind of project?" He was like, yeah, he's like, "Oh, I read your work. That's super cool." They shook hands. They didn't really have a chance to talk anymore because his train was there, and he leaves. So this essentially, right, he put a post on social media about this was weird, how he had a weird interaction with some young guy who knew of this article that he had written or something. Well, then a friend ends up texting Mr. Hoda and saying, "Hey, you're in a video that's going viral." The original student, Mr. Nguyen, Mr. Nguyen, and a fellow Harvard student, Kane Ardafayo, built glasses used for identifying strangers in real time and demonstrated on them to real people at the subway station. And so they looked at his face and was able to tell who they were, and then Googled, got information on them real quick. And in real time, within minutes. They have there's a face, essentially they did it with the technology of the Meta glasses, which live streams video to Instagram, face detection software, which captures faces that appear on that live stream, and then a face search engine called PIM Eyes, which finds sites on the internet where a person's face appears, and then a chat GPT-like tool that was able to parse the results from PIM Eyes to suggest a person's name and occupation, as well as look up the name on a people search site to find a home address, a phone number, and their relatives. Who? So, I mean, on the one hand, cool. On the other hand, super scary, right? What some of these things.
Okay, yeah, that's dangerous to any woman walking on the street.
Right. And so, they were like, well, the tools were there. We just were the ones to think to put them all together. And it's just another example of science fiction or not science fiction, reality, where people are just not stopping to think just because we can do something. doesn't mean that we
Okay, you
should. And I
should.
know, Skynet, this is how we get Skynet, right? And just all of this stuff, it looks
Try to
like
get
it
Minority
works
Report.
The world would
in
just
real time. And a lot of the stuff is open source. Like some of the tech to put a name to a face is free or relatively cheap. So it's just, it's pretty scary to think about. It's still kind of an early prototyping stage, but man, it's like we live in a golden age of TV in a lot of ways, but like in a really scary age of tech sometimes. And sorry to like bum everybody out, but like I said, it's kind of cool on the one hand, especially if you can't really remember who people are, and it could have like that heads up
Yeah, I was
display
thinking for
that'll tell you
someone with
like,
social
oh, this is
anxiety.
Bob, and you met Bob at a party in 2015, and that would be useful. But
Yeah,
some of this
but
other
I
stuff
don't
is
need
just
to
too
know
much.
Bob's social security number and his address.
Right.
And I sure as hell don't want Bob to know mine.
Right.
Well, I mean,
right.
Is Bob loaded?
That's not creepy at all. Okay, then. Well, hey, if you're a fan of the interactive movie experience, you love those 4D theater seats, get ready. A24 is going to be hosting a multi-sensory experience screenings of Hugh Grant's upcoming horror film Heretic. So I guess they're passing out mushrooms. In Heretic's first spooky trailer, the film, directed by Quiet Place writers Scott Beck and Brian Woods, see Mormon missionaries, Sister Barnes, Yellow Jacket, Sophie Thatcher, Sister Paxson, The Fableman's Chloe East, visit the home of the kindly Mr. Reed, Hugh Grant. And at first, the young women are hesitant to enter his house because they need a woman present, because Mormons. He assures her that his wife is just in the kitchen baking some blueberry pie, not the kind from The Help. But when they discover that the delicious smell of pie is just the result of a scented candle, they realize that Mr. Reed is much more devious than he seems. Wah, ha, ha, ha. And you, my friends, can actually smell the blueberry pie, because fans on October 30th who go to these screenings will get exclusive treats. You'll get scratch and sniff cards so you can participate in all the events of the movie. You'll get other advanced information and stuff when you go do it. Meanwhile, John Waters is sitting in a corner going, wish I had thought of that.
No.
To smell along.
I don't need to scratch and sniff dog poo.
To smell along to Heretic with Paxton and Barnes, head to the Alamo Drafthouse Theaters on October 30th for the film's one-night-only scented screenings. The screenings are the result of a partnership between A24 and Joya Studio behind the scented genre candles. So, is the movie any good? Well, you'll just have to see it and smell it for yourself. You can tell the world if it's award-worthy or if
it stinks.
GRD is licensed to create safe 3.0 license. Come check us out on Facebook and on Twitter and stop by the website at geekradiodaily.com. You can
I
also
guess we'll smell you later.
send a voicemail to the magic numbers of
510 GRD Crew.
See you next time, yo. Go get some stuff.
Game over, man. Game over.
All systems operative.
Dr. Leacher, we need to ask you.
There's someone out there again, isn't there? Pastries.
Yes.
Hi, karate. You wear that sometimes, don't you? But not today. Today, it's mentholated deep heat rub. You order chef salad with dressing on the side. You have a young, attractive wife with perky breasts, a 9-year-old son, and a 16-year-old daughter.
Who told you that?
I saw that picture in your wallet.
We came here to talk about cookies.
Quid pro quo, Mr. Colt.
What's that mean?
It means I'm pretentious.
I fucking love Loaded Weapon 1.
That movie is so great. It's so underappreciated. So flew under the radar.
So good. Like, I love that movie so much.
Yeah. I mean, Tim Curry is just a delight.
Wilderness girls. We are not meeting acute.
What do you think about the microfilm?
The microfilm. Oh my god, just everything about that, and Dennis Leary. I mean, it's freaking Shatner as the villain.
Yes,
Like
General Motors.
Yes, General Motors. Yes. Oh,
A man that you were involved with. Not like that.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Oh my God, Carol, when did you get?
Yeah, I just lost my hair. Oh God.
Right?
I hate wigs. I can't stand wigs.
Oh.
There's hoping I never go bald.
You'll be all right.
And of course, I would love to go see one of those scented screenings of Heretic, but the nearest Alamo Draft House is 3 hours away.
Yeah, not one close to us either. But that's all I can think about. I'm like, oh, so somebody's doing polyester again. Okay, cool.
You could just sneak in some
all I
more
can think is
blueberry
I don't
pie,
wanna
and then you
smell
like take the lid off the Tupperware when you get to that part.
Everybody,
Yeah, there you go. I don't want to smell pink flamingos. Please, I don't want to smell pink flamingos.
they pee on their legs. So does the bird.
God, early 90s, I think they did a re-release, limited edition, a VHS re-release that put Scratch and Sniff card back in polyester for you.
Oh.
So wanted to get
See,
that.
I like polyester. I think polyester is a very good film.
It is.
I love really John Waters.
But you know, it's John Waters, so you've got to be prepared. Not your average.
Yeah, you got to be prepared for Divine to eat some dog shit.
Right. I mean, just as will happen, you know.
That will happen. Oddly, that was not the most disgusting thing in Pink Flamingos for me.
Wait a second.
It wasn't even the chicken dying in the sex scene.
That's what I was about to ask you next. Okay.
It's Edie. I cannot do Edie the egg lady. I can't. I watch Pink Flamingos and I can't eat eggs for weeks. I can't do Edie. I can do her in every other one of his movies, but I can't do her in Pink Flamingo.
Okay. Well,
I just love the fact that they just gave the bar lady a job in all of their movies. Because that's what she was. She was just a local lady running a bar. It's obvious she wasn't an actress. That's for
She probably gave him free drinks, and there you go.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. And I'm sure they gave her free drinks.
Fair trade.
All right, party people, it's getting late. This was a long one today.
This was, yep.
Wasn't me. Oh,
Well,
we're still recording now.
Yeah, let's go ahead and shut down the Twitch, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much. Of course, if you're new here, we do this every 2 weeks, this live show, which, of course, is available for listening pleasure later on. Not really edited, but some stuff chopped off at geekradiodaily.com.
Think stuff gets chopped off? You think there's standards?
He missed the ding. Ding! And
Sorry, I was looking at the thing. Hold on. There you go.
thank you very much. Drace in the chat gave us the ding. We appreciate
I totally
you, Drace.
forgot something huge from my Geeky Week. I'll have to save it for next week.
Yeah, save it. But we appreciate you guys. Please make sure you have a happy and safe Halloween. And of course, as I mentioned before, the least thing that you can do is your duty as an American, as a patriot. Go vote. What's 2 weeks? What?
I'm saying vote. V.
Oh, vote. Yeah, yes. Vote. Specifically because, look, whatever side of the aisle you're on, go and vote. If you don't vote for somebody who has a potential, I'd fair is fair. Obviously, we'd prefer if we get more votes because let's face it, if our side actually shows up, more people turn up. We win.
12 days.
But
you got 12 days.
But the key thing is go and vote no matter what. That is the important thing. That is how you demonstrate your civicness, your Americanness, and don't give me any third-party bullshit until you guys can at least get more people in the Senate.
The day after the election, third party in the streets explaining to people what you're going to do is the only way to make third party happen. Okay?
Yep. Because remember, if it wasn't for the third party, we already would have had a lady in the White House. All right, guys, please make sure you like, subscribe, all that stuff. Please be safe. Have fun. We love you guys.
Win prizes.